Hey, good evening. How's everybody doing out there? Welcome back. It's the first ever Woolham Talks podcast of 2017. We hope you guys have had a great break, a great Christmas break, and a very happy new year to all of you listening to the show today. As usual, I'm joined by my two boys. Uh, First of all, introducing the power from up north, the man geek, Alvin. Say what's up, man.
What's up, peeps?
And of course, the rustling kid, Richard, who's not rustling at the moment. I'm seriously gonna have to get rid of this name for you. Rich, say hello.
Hello. Yeah. Get rid of it, man. Like you tried to give me some label. It makes no sense, man. Like call
He
me the
does.
heartbreak kid or something. Give me something with some gravitas.
Listen, it makes perfect sense if you've been listening to our other podcasts, because you know they always start with the sound of shuffling in the background. Oh dear. How you doing, lads? How was your Christmas and New Year? Everything all good?
Yeah, it's all right.
yeah, yeah. It was cool.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. You get
Yeah.
up to anything fun over the period, or just eat, drink, and generally be merry?
I'm more eat, drink, and be slightly miserable.
Yeah, well, we know that for you,
Yeah.
Richard.
Listen, you're from up north. Your accent sounds miserable, bro.
I found that comment racist.
Hey,
That's because I am racist. But yeah, carry on.
you should know where you're at, Alvin. Anywhere north of the M25, we
Yeah.
don't fuck with that. No, that's good, man. That's good. I'm glad you guys had a good time. So I was thinking about like Christmas in particular, and thinking about Christmas gifts. This year for me, it was fairly easy to kind of get all my Christmas shopping done, and I was able to get everything that everybody wanted. But it kind of reminded me of like times when I've received really dodgy gifts. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna bring up the amount of times I've got like links links shower sets. Like I don't know what you're trying to say if you keep buying links shower sets. Like for American listeners, links is basically Axe. I think it's called in America.
Yeah, it is
Um,
Axe. Yeah.
yeah, it's Axe, isn't it? Yeah, and I constantly kept getting them, and it's like, okay, like, are you trying to say I stink or I don't wash? Like, what what are you trying to say by getting me this thing year after year? But one of the worst presents I think I ever got was way back when I was a little kid. I used to be crazy about the cartoon He-Man, and one of the things I really wanted was Castle Grayskull. Um, so I remember bugging my mum and saying, "Mum, get me Castle Grayskull, get me Castle Grayskull." And eventually, she kind of hinted that something would be coming my way at Christmas. So I remember like not being able to sleep on Christmas Eve night as a typical kid would be. So just pacing up and down in my room, waiting for this Castle Grayskull. And Christmas morning came. I was up at like 6 in the morning. I got my folks up. I was like, "Come on, let's go and open presents. Let's go and open presents." So we all went downstairs to open up the presents, and I opened up this box, and I don't know what it was. To this day, I still don't know what it was, but it said Castle Grayskull, but it was not Castle Grayskull. It was like, like them kind of cheap toys that you get in like the pound shop, like
Yep.
Poundland and stuff.
Chinese, probably
Yeah,
made. Yeah.
yeah, where they do like a copy of something, but it's like on the label it will say Spider-Man and it will be a Batman figure inside,
Yeah.
and the Batman colors won't add up and stuff. Basically, that's what it was. So I opened that and I was distraught, man. I really was. And the thing is, I'm not an ungrateful kid. Like you see, I was smiled through gritted teeth and said thank you, and but deep down inside, I died a little bit. I can't lie. So I kind of always thought from then on, I need to make sure that if somebody is getting a gift, I need to at least get something that I think that they'll appreciate. So for you two guys, what's the worst Christmas gift that you've ever received? I'll start with you, Richard.
Yeah. Christmas gift. Ex-girlfriend. Her mum got me a candle.
What? Just a candle?
Yep. You
Was
see,
it
did you not hear the silence when I said what she gave?
was it scented?
But
Was
then,
it
no,
scented?
no, fuck about was it scented. Are we in the fucking dark ages? Doesn't matter whether it was scented.
Yes, it does. 'Cause if it was scented, you could run yourself a nice little bath,
Yeah,
create some bubbles, put on a scented candle, listen to
yeah.
some calming music, and at least got
Yeah.
any use out of it. If it's just a normal
Okay,
fucking candle, then yeah, that's shit.
okay. Check it. I'm the most metrosexual male that I know. Yeah.
Hmm.
I was gonna do a face mask today, but I was running out of time. That's how metrosexual I am, right? So this whole thing you've just said about basically putting candles by the bar, I've been there, done that. I don't need someone to buy me a candle that I'm gonna use, yeah, when I'm running my bath, because I've got candles there already. Yeah. Hey, listen. Hey, let me get you. Let me you sitting at the dinner table in a restaurant, right? You've got your plate. You've got your plate that's got your food in it. You've got your knife. You've got your fork. Does the waiter come over and say, "Here, have another fork"? You'd be like, "Why are you giving me another fork? I've got a fork already." Like, no, so you can eat your food with. No, but I've got a fork to eat my food with. That's what the candle was. It was scented. It was. I think it had something like vanilla in it or something like that. It was a big fuck off one, like size of like a small baby or like a really big shit after you've been out, like when you've been drinking and the next day you empty out the stomachs, that decent sized log in the toilet. And that's what my present was. It was a big piece of shit. I should have just flushed it down the toilet. As much as I love scented candles, and I'm sure you can hear the bitterness in my voice right now.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's it, man. Because she had good money I know she had good money to buy me a present, and she bought me a candle.
That's the worst though. That is just almost like an afterthought. Like, what should I get him? Like, I don't really know this guy, and I don't really give a damn about him. So yeah, let me get
Yeah.
him a candle.
You know what? You know what she could have got me? She could have got me a jar, yeah, and said here and put a top on it and said, hey, here's some oxygen. She could have given me that. It's just as fucking bad.
Well, at least oxygen would have been useful at some point.
Yeah, true. Except that it's free, but yeah.
Yeah, true that, true that. Alvin, how about you, man? What's the worst you've ever got?
The worst for me is just plain old boring mundane socks. Just a set of socks that were all brown, but they're slightly different shades of brown, and they were from Next. So apparently, I should have been grateful.
Who
Well,
was this
yeah,
from?
no, next shop sent you.
I'm not going to say who it's from.
No. I
But
mean, no, I mean, no, no. I mean, was it? No. You don't have to give a name. Which is it? Was
oh
it an auntie? Was it? Was it an ex-girlfriend? Was it a boyfriend? What? Tell me.
no, it was from a family member.
Family member. Okay. All right. Damn.
But
Damn.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
pretty. Sorry, go on.
No, I say no. You can't even cuss then. You can't. Yeah, you can't expose them.
Yeah,
No,
no,
but
exactly. But yeah, it was pretty
yeah,
bad. But I let it be known because it's like socks are just probably like nobody needs socks at Christmas unless they're Star Wars socks. I probably would have went, oh, fucking wicked nice one, Star Wars socks. They're a bit novelty. I love Star Wars anyway. I'd wear them with pride, whatever. But no, it's just plain old brown, not even Christmas themed, just brown socks. I was just like, what the fuck? Why? Why this?
Damn.
good. They don't love you, Alvin. They don't love you.
That's
But
what I
no, I was
thought.
gonna.
It's not even that. You know when you get that present and you look at it and you look up and you're like, have I done something wrong? Have I been?
That's the 21st century version of getting coal. That's what
Yeah.
that was to me. Just socks. Socks just mean I don't give a shit about you. That's what it means.
But no, I was gonna say like neck socks are kind of usually good quality, isn't it? I mean, they're
Yeah, I
on the
wasn't
same
impressed.
level.
To me, it was just cotton on my feet like any other sock. Well, it didn't
Yeah.
feel any different to me. I still got them though.
Because it's the same kind of level with the quality wise as like Marks and Spencer socks and things like that. They're usually pretty well made. I imagine. I mean, I've only had like one pair of neck socks that I can remember in my life, and I think I got those in the sale anyway. But yeah, anyway, enough about the retail and the quirks of British high streets. Um, yeah, so guys, we got a Christmas present early this year from Disney and the good folks at Lucasfilm. They gave us a film that really I think we were all looking forward to, but none of us really knew what to expect from it until it came out. And I think it pretty much blew us all away from when we were talking about it, and that's Rogue One, Star Wars story. Um, yeah, it just was amazing from start to finish. I mean, for somebody who's not a diehard Star Wars fan, I couldn't say that, but pretty much anything Star Wars, I'm gonna fuck with it. You know, I mean, you're talking to somebody who like when I went to go and see the prequels, and I came out of seeing Episode One, and there was part of me convincing myself that no, this is really good. It's really really good. Like, Deep down inside, I knew it wasn't, but I was constantly telling myself it was. But with Rogue One, there was just none of that. It was just superb, absolutely superb from start to finish. Um, so, guys, I mean, initial impressions with Rogue One, because obviously we didn't get to chat about this over our break. Alvin, you know, you're the certified Star Wars guy here, although Richard might contest that. But um, what did you make of Rogue One? What did you think of the movie and the way that it presented its story and the characters?
I literally legit just fucking loved it. Like just the whole experience for me, because I saw it 3D IMAX like at midnight, and like just the way the film kicked off and the story that they told, all the characters, although I admit some of them maybe are a little bit cookie cutter, but everything that happened for me kind of made sense. There's some stuff in there that they did with CGI that I thought was pretty fucking amazing, to be honest. I'd never seen it look that good before until they did that in this movie. Or the third act is fucking flawless. Like, it is legit perfect. And the very, very end of the movie as well, the last 2 minutes, it was just like a wicked send-off. It was just like it was like a climax. That's all I can describe it as. It was like a climax, and it was fucking wicked. And just I thought it was better than The Force Awakens, better than any of the prequels. This is easily the best Star Wars movie we've had since, obviously, came back with the prequels and that. I think it's better than The Force Awakens easily. Not that The Force Awakens is a bad movie. It's very good. But this, it was a slightly different flavor, a bit of a darker flavor, a bit more serious in the story that it told. And it wasn't as light-hearted as The Force Awakens, but I think that's what sets it apart and what makes it different, and what makes it equally, if not more, for me, enjoyable.
Absolutely. I mean, I was a big fan of The Force Awakens when I saw it, and but for me, this was just like a totally different experience. As you said, it kind of captured the other side of Star Wars, because the last couple of films that we've had from Star Wars have been very much light in tone, and you know, they've dealt with like darker issues and things like that, but not in any kind of way that felt tangible, you know. But with Rogue One, it actually felt like watching a war movie in space. It felt like a Star Wars, you know, a Star Wars movie, so to speak. So there was really a sense of grittiness about it that I absolutely loved. Richard, would you want to give your initial reactions and thoughts on that as well?
Yeah, I loved it, man. Like, I wasn't a fan of episode 7, and I no, I mean, like, Jay, you saw what Rogue One in what 2D? Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Alvin, you saw it in what 3D,
3D
right?
IMAX, yeah.
Yeah, and I saw it in 4D. So we've all seen it in a different way, but we've all come away with the same thing of like, listen, this film was fucking awesome. Um, and I'll tell you what I do love about it is like the thing that you said, Jay, is that it essentially is a war film. It's a Star Wars, you know. And the thing that I love about this film is that this is probably, I'm not sure if this is something that George Lucas could have pulled off, because as a director, I don't think he's that way inclined. I don't think he's got the skills to pull it off. But obviously, when you hear that story when he first took episode 4 to 20th Century Fox, and he hadn't finished it, and basically he had to intercut the space battle with scenes from like from World War II films, and those were his influences. And this is essentially it. This is, like you said, it's a true balls to the wall war film. To me, I've always said that a good story is something that you can take it out of its setting and just place it somewhere else, and then and it will still get across the same message. And this film was generally flawless for me. Like, I loved it. I loved it. So that's, I mean, that's where I stand on that. And I really wouldn't mind if the tone stays like this, because like I said, I wasn't a fan of episode 7, to tell the truth.
Mm. I don't think unfortunately for you, I don't think the tone is going to stay like that. I think there are going to
Yeah.
be, from what I understand, I think the plan is there will be movies like Rogue One. Um, Obviously, assuming everything goes to plan and they're able to keep making movies. But I think in general, it's going to be more kind of along the lines of episode 7 in terms of the tone.
Mm.
So, but I mean, we'll wait and see. I mean, Ryan Johnson's doing episode 8, which is coming up, and his style lends itself to a very kind of dark feel, a bit like the way Gareth Edwards style did with Rogue One. So, you know, you never know. We could see a very different story. And from what we're hearing, you know, Episode 8 is modeling itself on um, The Empire Strikes Back. So
Mm.
I would assume that means that you know the tone is going to be different. While it will be lighthearted in places, I imagine there's going to be quite a heavy story in this one. So we'll have to wait and see, really. But Alf, yeah, you brought up the CGI, which, as you said, Rich, I saw it in 2D, and I mean, I was amazed in 2D what they were able to do, and you know, seeing Grand Moff Tarkin on the screen, like alive and breathing on the screen, was just like, oh, you know, my head was blown. Just seeing that, and then getting the little scene with Princess Leia, and rest in peace to Carrie Fisher, by the way. That was amazing as well. And as you said, that last sort of 3 minutes of the film where we get Maximum Vader, that was just like that. I kid you not, I was sitting in the cinema and I was literally gripping the edges of the cinema seat because like I couldn't. Otherwise, I was going to jump up and go, yes, it's going to be in the cinema. So I had to stop. So I had to do something to contain myself, but just immense, just absolutely immense. Rogue One, it really was, really was. You know, the characters were all fantastic. I mean, what was your favorite character? Did you have a favorite character, Rich?
Yeah, chew it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man,
Why, man?
perfect. Loved him. I just loved that he was almost like he would have been. I mean, he was the Obi-Wan to the story of how Obi-Wan was, you know, in A New Hope, and I just loved it that he was just you know that he was that perfect blend of like calm, you know, that sensei type of person, but then being also being able to kick ass, and then being handicapped with the whole blindness thing as well. Yeah, yeah, like he was my favorite character. In fact, him and his boy, I've forgotten his boy's name. Sorry.
Baze Malbus.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Someone's never had a girlfriend before. Yeah, those two together.
Is it that obvious?
Yeah, those two together, I thought worked really really well. But Chewett, as you know, if I had to pick one character, Chewett would be my favorite. Um, but there's one scene with the two of them when basically I think when they land on a planet when the captain's gonna go and kill Jin's father. Is it that one? Or no, there's a bit where episode where he goes like, I'm gonna go out to fight. And he's like, yeah, but who's gonna protect you? Or no, you're gonna die out there. And he's like, no, because you're gonna come and protect me. But they had that really, really good back one and twos between each other, which really for two characters that were only gonna be on the screen for X amount of time, you really believe that they'd been friends for years anyway. And that's what I loved about those two characters.
For sure, for sure. How about you, Alvin? Was there anybody that stood out for you?
For me, it was K2SO, mainly because, like, in the prequels, when you see droids, they looked fake as fuck. Like, they didn't look real at all. You know what I mean? They just looked CGI. Although they tried to like dirty them up and that. But K2SO to me, like, the whole time watching the character, it didn't seem like an effect to me. Like, I'd forgotten it was pretty much motion capture and CG. And I just think the humor of the character, it wasn't too much. It was mostly deadpan kind of stuff. But yeah, when he sacrificed himself, I actually got a little bit emotional because he fast became like one of my favorite droids. Like, he's not as annoying as C3PO can be, but he is just as funny, but usually on purpose, and he just says whatever comes to the front of his mind. But yeah, I really enjoyed K2SO. I thought it was a great droid character.
Very much so. I think for me it was probably because I was going to say like either Chirrut Imwe, K2SO, or Jyn Erso, because I quite like Jyn Erso as well. But I think for me it was actually Director Krennic. The reason why is because one, I've always had a soft spot for a good bad guy, always. And I think he's a great bad guy because I think what they've done with him is they've made a character who's quite layered. Um, Ben Mendelsohn, who plays him, his performance is just fantastic. I mean, he's a really good actor anyway, but there's so many things going on with that character because he's you know, you can see on the one hand, yeah, okay, he's evil, and you know, he's ruthless and he's willing to do whatever he has to do to get the job done, but at the same time, there's also a kind of vulnerability to him because he's a victim of almost like a class structure within the empire, where you can see he's kind of a guy who's trying to achieve, you know, a better standing for himself within the empire, and he can't because, you know, you've got Tarkin on one hand who's just boying him off constantly. And then you've got Vader on the other hand, who's like, you know, don't get too big for your boots, son. You don't get to join this class, you know. So he kind of had the feel of somebody who's like working class almost, who's trying to kind of get their way up the ladder, and like the people at the top are like, no, mate, like we like what you do, but you stay down there. You don't come up here. This is our playpen. So I kind of felt a bit sorry for him in a way, which is weird because the first scene you meet him, he's murdering like Jinoso's mother's wife, mother, sorry. So it's kind of weird that I felt that, but that was kind of the depth of his performance, really, that I think I identified with. So yeah, it's very good. So I mean, guys, did you want to add anything else on Rogue One that we haven't covered before we move on to the bulk of the topics?
I'm probably going to go and see it another 2 times.
Oh, I'm already like getting it on Blu-ray. That's a standard.
Yeah. I'm gonna see it again. And yeah, and if nobody's seen it, what are you waiting for? Go and see it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We can't recommend it highly enough. I mean, if that hasn't convinced you, I don't know what will. But seriously, if you haven't seen it, go and see it. Even if you're not a Star Wars fan, it's so well done that you really do not have to be versed in everything that goes on in the Star Wars universe. You can go in blind and still enjoy a great war movie, with all the kind of things that you would expect a good war movie to have. So if you're a fan of that type of story, go and see it. And even if you're not, give it a try.
One last thing though,
it's amazing. Yeah,
Hammerhead Corvette.
Oh man.
Well, explain the reference to people who don't know, Al.
Oh, do you reckon it should? Isn't it kind of spoilery?
A little bit, but you know what? It's the movie's been out for a while now.
All right. So there were these Hammerhead Corvettes that Princess Leia had to get one time in Star Wars Rebels, and essentially they get used in a battle towards the end of the film to push a Star Destroyer into another Star Destroyer. And yeah, what you end up seeing is amazing, because there must have been model work in that shot, because when I saw it in IMAX, the way those ships were breaking apart, it looked like CGI to me at all. Like I was like, oh my god, models! It must be big ass models. So, but yeah, that's a great part of the movie. Yeah, I love that bit.
Yeah, fantastic. Rich, anything else?
No. That's it, man. I just love the film. If you haven't seen it, go see it.
Yeah. Simple as, man. Simple as. Go and see it, people. All right. Well, we are now fully into the new year, as you already know, by the time that you're listening to this. And 2016, I mean, like as a year, some people kind of think it was horrible because of certain events. We won't get into the politics and stuff because Lord knows I'm tired of talking politics, to be honest, because it feels like that's all we did in 2016. But yeah, 2016 was eventful, shall we say, eventful. But it was also a busy year for entertainment and for movies, for games, for comics, for TV. You know, a lot of stuff happened throughout the year. So what we're going to do right now is kind of break down a little bit of some of the highlights, or the things that we considered to be the best of 2016. So if there's anything that you've missed or you haven't seen, then hopefully you'll get a recommendation for it here and you can go check it out. So yeah, I mean, let's start with movies. As I said, it's been a bumper year for movies. I mean, we just talked about Rogue One, which is really one of the most outstanding films you'll see this year. Especially, as I said, if you're a if you're a Star Wars fan, you should absolutely be going to see Rogue One. So yeah, there's been some amazing movies this year. So guys, do you want to run through a couple of the big movies that have come out and things that kind of made an impact with you? You don't have to mention your choice for the movie of the year yet. You can just go through things that have kind of stood out to you. So Alvin, do you want to go first?
Yeah, Creed, Civil War, Star Trek are some standouts for me.
Cool, cool. Rich, any others that you wanted to add to that?
Mine would be obviously Rogue One, Star Trek Beyond. Like I thought that was just fucking amazing. And Final Fantasy 15 Kingsglaive, I thought was pretty awesome as well.
Cool, cool. Well, for me, I mean, you guys kind of covered a lot of that, but I did see a lot of independent and foreign movies this year as well. One of the ones that stood out for me was a movie I've mentioned before on the podcast called Train to Busan, which is a Korean movie, Korean zombie movie set on a speeding train traveling through South Korea. Really, really good movie. Really good. So if you haven't seen it at all, go and check that out. What else was there? There was a movie that I saw very recently, actually. It technically came out last year in America, so I'll recommend it, which is called Moonlight, which is a beautiful,
Oh,
beautiful
I've heard of that.
drama and character study about somebody's life growing up in America, a young gay black man growing up and dealing with the trials and tribulations that life throws at him. Really well done, really cleverly shot. The acting in it is superb as well. Just a brilliant, brilliant movie. So definitely check that out if you can as well. And yeah, I think that's it for my recommendation. So do you want to go for your big one now, boys? So let's do this. Let's choose our film of the year. So if you can give your choice and then explain a little bit about why you've gone with that movie. So Richard, I'm going to start with you. What was your movie of the year and why?
Okay, all right. So is Rogue One allowed in this?
You can choose Rogue One. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Can I do a toss up between two films?
No, you need to choose one.
Fuck you. All right. Okay. Okay. Now. Okay. Then I would choose Rogue One. You want to give you a brief breakdown of the reason why I would choose Rogue One?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Well, number one, I'm gonna choose Rogue One just to piss you guys off, just in case you guys were gonna choose it. Maybe not so much you, Jason, but Alvin.
Fuck
I know
you.
that probably
Fuck
might
off.
be-
You take the piss, lad.
but in all seriousness, I mean, like, it would definitely be a toss up for me movie of the year between Rogue One and Star Trek Beyond. But I'd ultimately have to go with Rogue One, just for the simple fact that such an amazing film was literally just built off one line that was mentioned in episode 4. And I always found that fascinating when they were going through these films, these new films that were going to be produced and made when they were when Star Wars was acquired by Disney. So we had this list of, like, a Han Solo standalone film, and then they released, and then they said Rogue One was coming. I was like, yeah, but do we really want to see this? And then when they said what it was going to be based on, it really just sparked something in me where I was like, well, they're not making like a cartoon show, or like a TV series. They're going like balls to the wall, big budget. And then, like I said, but you just have that throwaway line, and that line itself holds so much when Mon Mothma gives it in episode 4. And then when you watch this film, it just hammers it home even more. Like, this is that unknown story that nobody else in the Star Wars universe knows. Because if you think about it, really, we know what happens, but basically everybody who's there, I mean, ends up dying, and that just makes the story for the film that's so beautiful. That, like, easily my number one film for the year.
Cool. Fair enough, man. Can't argue with that. Like I said, I was a big fan of Rogue One, so that can go in there. So Rogue One is on the list. Alvin, you're up next, man. You can give your explanation and any other details that you want.
Well, firstly, I need to correct Richard on something. Mon Mothma isn't in episode 4.
Who is it? Is it Jonathan Dana?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, my bad.
Oh, interestingly, he's in Rogue One as well.
What, briefly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Played by Sir Barristan from Game of Thrones. Anyway, yeah, mine was also our Rogue One. Just because nothing for me can beat a good Star Wars movie. I loved Civil War, thought it was great. I also love Star Trek Beyond, but fuck me, like, Star Wars was just the wicked way to finish. In fact, no matter what time during the year it would have come out, anyway. And like, I also think an important thing about Rogue One is never fucking listen to the press. All these reports about reshoots and all that, and the amount of the film that they were apparently reshooting and all this kind of stuff. And there were these kind of reports of that the film was in trouble and that Rogue One might be a bit shit and da-da-da and all this business. And then look at the fucking film we got. I'm glad they made fucking changes, because without those changes, we may have got an okay Star Wars movie. With the changes that they made, we got a fucking wicked Star Wars movie. So always be careful from what you hear about the press and what you fucking believe, because most of the time it probably isn't even fucking true. But yeah, Rogue One is my is definitely my film of the year.
All right, cool, fair enough. I said can't argue with that because I liked it a lot. Okay, well for me, Star Trek Beyond was very close to being my choice, as was Rogue One. But I think I'm gonna go differently from you two, and I'm gonna go with Captain America: Civil War. I think the reason why I went with it was because from the moment they released the first teaser trailer, and I sat down and I watched that teaser trailer, um, I was hooked. I was just totally hooked on this. I was hooked on the concept. I was hooked on the story. I was hooked on what they were planning to do. And then when I actually sat down and I watched the movie in the theater, I just had a huge grin from ear to ear, from start to finish, in a way that Rogue One and Star Trek and Beyond did. But I think what I liked more about Civil War was the depth that they went to, because it surprised me how deep the film actually is. From the very beginning, they kind of show you the difference between Captain America and Iron Man, in the fact that Tony Stark is a guy who, when confronted with a dramatic situation, like he was in sort of the opening part of the movie, in the opening act, when the grieving parent confronts him by the elevator, his reaction was, to feel the pain, to feel the remorse of his actions and the things that he'd done over previous films, and to immediately kind of go towards, how do I fix this? How do I make this thing go? Whereas Captain America, the first thing he almost does is, after the incident in Nigeria where the people die, is he's sitting and talking with Scarlet Witch, and he says, the thing about this job is, you basically, people are going to get hurt. But if we don't do this job, then what happens? Does everybody die? So we kind of have to do something. And I love the way that they kind of set that up. And then the relationships between the characters was so complex for a comic book movie, and complex in a way that, not that they tried to play gymnastics with their dialogue like some of the worst films of the year that I've seen, which we will get to, but because of the simple way that they presented the fact that obviously this is going to be a conflict, showing Vision and Scarlet Witch kind of starting to get close, and the fact that that closeness has repercussions later on in the film that are really quite serious, is really, really clever, and again, not something you would expect from a comic book movie. I just think it was just a fantastic experience. And then on top of that, you add in, some of the best action scenes of the year. You add in Spider-Man, you add in Black Widow, you add in Black Panther's first appearance and how fantastic that was, and how brilliant Chadwick Boseman was as him. And and then the climax, which is like one of the most deeply personal kind of climaxes you could have got for a comic book movie, where it's literally like, these guys are fighting no longer over political or philosophical differences. They're fighting because somebody basically killed someone else's parent, and the person who knows about it said nothing and did nothing. um so I was blown away by all of that. The acting across the board was just brilliant. As said, the special effects were amazing. It just was everything you could want as a comic book fan who was really looking forward to seeing that kind of an event, and as somebody in particular who's a sucker for big events, which is to my detriment later on, but as I said, we'll get to that later on. it just delivered everything I could have wanted and more. So for me, Captain America: Civil War is my movie of the year, so I'm going to give that my thumbs up. But honorable mention is said to Star Trek Beyond, which was amazing as well. It delivered a lot of things that I was not expecting at all. I had little hope for Star Trek Beyond, if I'm honest, based on the trailers. But what the movie delivered was really something else. So yeah, Star Trek Beyond definitely gets an honorable mention, and of course, Rogue One as well is included in that because it was fantastic as well. All right, cool guys. Well, now we're going to move on to this should be fun. The worst film of the year. Now, this year in particular, I mean, I don't know if it's just me, but this year it just seems like I've seen a lot of shitty movies. A lot. Just some really, really bad films. Films that are just absolutely incompetent. Just yeah, it's just this is gonna be hard work because I'm still quite angry at a couple of films on on my personal list. So let me take a breather. I'm gonna step back. Alvin, do you want to start off with some of the dishonorable mentions for the worst film of the year, and then your worst film of the year?
Yeah, Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad. Well, I'm technically going to include Assassin's Creed just because it did come out in America before the end of the year. So yeah, Assassin's Creed as well.
Cool, fair enough. Richard, some of your dishonorable mentions for worst film of the year?
Like Alvin, Batman versus Superman. I need to see Suicide Squad again, but in discussions that we've had concerning the film, it doesn't like my memory of it and what I'm being told. They don't match up. So I need to go and see it again. I'm slightly scared. I feel like I'm gonna have a flashback, but I'm gonna wake up when they have a flashback and just be like, "Oh my God, Suicide Squad is shit." But I mean, it wasn't a great of films, but it's not bad enough to mention. I mean, because if it was on Channel 5, I'd probably still watch it in the background or something. But I saw one recently called Maximum Ride on Netflix, and I was
Wait.
stupid.
Is that your film? Is that your worst film of the year?
Yeah, that is my worst film
All
of the
right.
year.
Well, hold up. Hold your horses. Don't start yet. All
Okay.
right. So your dishonorable mentions were Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad. Yeah.
Yeah. Suicide Squad and A Dream Haze because I'm still not 100%, but definitely Batman versus Superman.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, for me, my dishonorable mention list is long because I said for some reason I seem to see a lot of crappy films this year. So yeah, here we go. Suicide Squad. This was a film that I was really looking forward to the point where I think when I actually went to go and see it in the cinema, I was so caught up in hype I couldn't actually acknowledge the fact that what I was watching did not make a lick of sense at all. And it was only when I watched it on second viewing was when I realized, oh my god, this is really not good at all. Batman v Superman, as you guys know, Dawn of Justice. Any of you who've listened to our previous podcast know I despise that film. I genuinely think it's one of the worst films I've seen this year. I know that's not going to go down well with DC listeners. DC listeners, I'm sorry, but it just was bad. It just that theatrical cut that we all saw was terrible, terrible. And yeah, okay, the extended edition, filled in a few gaps in the plot, but it still was just a slog. It felt like a grueling slog to get through. Especially that extended edition. It's free and God knows how long hours long, and it just felt like doing an hour's worth of bloody, I don't know, some kind of insanity or T25 for an hour or some kind of stupid fitness class that you would do like for over an hour. That's what it felt like. It just felt like a slog. But there's others that I managed to see as well. There was I'm even embarrassed to admit I saw this film. There was a film called Nine Lives with Kevin Spacey and
Yeah, I don't know why you went to
Christopher
see that.
Walken.
Why did you
I
put
don't know
yourself through
either.
it?
I
Hold
don't
on,
know
that's the
either.
one with the cat.
Let's
That's
not
the
put
cat,
it.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, get
Let's
out.
not.
Get out.
let's not let's, let's not talk about that anymore, please, because I don't.
Kevin Spacey doesn't talk about it either.
Yeah, wise decision on his part. Dirty Grandpa, my God, that
Was
was a
that bad?
bad.
Was that Robert De Niro and
Robert
thing?
De Niro and Zac Efron.
Yeah, that's it.
Really bad. It's like somebody said, "Okay, we're gonna make this comedy, right?" And the comedy is Robert De Niro as a grandpa. He's old, he's grumpy, and he just wants to have sex and do drugs all the time. The comedy is just gonna flow from that without actually thinking of comedic situations or trying to write some decent jokes or anything like that. So literally, that is the joke for the whole film, for the 90-minute running time is that. And De Niro's not a guy who's really that good at comedy, to be honest. I mean, apart from Meet the Fockers, I can't really think of anything else where.
But even in that, he's not funny. He's playing someone who's not funny, which is why it's funny.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Like sorry, not Meet the Fockers, because that wasn't great. Meet the Parents. In Meet the Parents, the joke is he's quite a serious guy and he's a straight-laced guy, and that's where the humor comes from. But in Dirty Grandpa, he's trying to be funny, and he needs to just let it go. He needs to let it go. Excuse me. So, yeah, Dirty Grandpa is definitely one of the worst. But it was no worse than what is going to be my choice for the worst film of the year. But first, before I do that, Alvin, do you want to confirm your worst film of the year?
Yeah, my worst film of the year, although, like you said, BVS was a slug, and it was pretty hard to get all the way through, and it wasn't really satisfying, especially with that fucking ending. Jesus. I'm going with Suicide Squad just because that film actually fooled me into thinking it was pretty good. I remember actually saying on the podcast after it came out that, yeah, it was all right. I might buy it on Blu-ray when it comes out. I saw it a second time, and thank God I did, because then I didn't have to waste my money on the Blu-ray and actually be annoyed watching it at home. It's not, there's bits of it that are all right, but the story is total bullshit. It's total fucking crap. Like, the story is one of the dumbest stories. I hate stories whereby a potential issue that could happen, but they cause something to happen which they then need to stop. That's fucking bullshit, because then there's no real fucking antagonist in your film. You created the problem. That means you're a fucking mong. You know what I mean? And then it was just all the editing and all that kind of shit. Loads of Joker stuff left out. Some of the Joker stuff I quite liked Jared Leto's Joker. I thought it was all right. I thought something different, whatever. But the film as a whole was just like, script just seemed lazy in some points. You know what I mean? And then you had fucking Cara Delevingne like walking about. I was like, what the fuck is going on? It's just not a good movie. Like, literally, when you watch it a second time, you'll be pissed off that you liked it the first time. So that's why it's my worst.
Yeah, I'll never get the image of Cara Delevingne popping and locking.
Yeah.
That was just like she looked like. Do you know what she looked like? I used to go to like way back in the day. I used to go to like a lot of raves in Barnes in Essex, and obviously there used to be like copious amounts of drugs and stuff going around at these raves. And she literally looked like somebody who was pilled up, like popped Molly and whatever else, just going for it to the music. That's what she looked like. And I remember seeing that and thinking, what on earth? Like, where is she?
I think it was supposed to be like otherworldly, you know what I mean? But it just came across as fucking dumb.
And why did the director not immediately go, what the fuck are you doing? Stop. Stop. What are you doing? So yeah, Suicide Squad, yeah, that could definitely go on the list of the worst movies of the year. So Richard, yeah, do you want to tell us your worst movie of the year now and why?
Yeah, Maximum Ride. It's a movie that's on Netflix, and it's based off a young adult series written by James Patterson, and it's about these genetically engineered teenagers.
They did a film of that.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, you know it.
I've seen the comic. Advertised.
Yeah, the comic. Yeah, the comic was good. I haven't actually read the book, but I know that the comic is based off the book, and And
I had no idea they did the movie.
Yeah, you know why? Because it's shit. And I mean, for worst movie of the year, I could easily pick like Batman versus Superman, just for the simple fact that that's a no-brainer. That film should have been good. You've got some of the most iconic characters on screen, and you could have just done a half decent script and done half decent acting and still come away with something good. But you know what? It is what it is, right? We knew what we were getting when we, to a certain degree, when they decided to fast forward with that film and have Zack Snyder direct it, and after the job that he did with Man of Steel. But I digress. Maximum Ride. I'll tell you how bad this film is. I didn't fucking finish it. How about that? Yeah? Didn't
Yeah.
finish it. Special effects. You know how good the special effects are? Let me tell you how good the special effects are. Remember that cartoon that we used to watch as a kid called Morph?
Yeah.
Yeah? Morph has better special effects in this film.
Brown morph.
Brown Morph. Brown Morph. Yeah, Brown Morph. Yeah.
Turn it into things and all that.
Yeah, Morph. Yeah, Morph had better special effects.
You know what
special
I'm
that?
looking at the trailer for Maximum Ride now, and you know what its problem is? It's trying
What's
to
that?
be every teen novel that ever was. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it does look fucking cheap as well. This looks like one of those movies on sci-fi that you see, like Relic Hunter or something like that, with a TV budget.
No, you want
It looks
you want
terrible.
to know you want to know the joke? The special effects that I've seen on programs like Relic Hunter or like Xena Warrior Princess or Hercules, the legend continues, whatever. They've had better special effects, and they were pretty dire when you look back. These special effects just looked. I mean, just bad. And then the acting was bad. I mean, I turned it off at some point when the main character called Max, Maximum Ride. She's been she's been shot, and she ends up she ends up being shot because she saved this girl being picked on by these two guys who are gonna rape her. And then basically she get then the girl takes her to her mum, who just happened to be a nurse, and her mum comes in, and she gives the most unconvincing performance ever. And I'm telling you, like, I have seen better performances in the worst Nollywood Nigerian film that you can think of. I swear to God. Like, I remember watching it and going like, wow. Number one, people got paid. Yeah. It's cold out in the streets. Yeah. But people got paid for this. And number two, the scene I'm talking about when the mother who's a nurse comes in and starts talking to Max, I was like, shit, you're gonna have this credit on your CV. Yeah. It's just the word. I couldn't finish it. Like, I actually thought to myself, yeah, let me turn it off and go to sleep and then come back the next day and finish it. And I was like, no, why would I want to do that to myself? The same reason when you guys went and watched Batman versus Superman for the podcast, to talk about it. Nope, I knew it was shit. I didn't go see a 3-hour edit of it. I knew that wasn't going to make no difference. I'm averse to causing myself or inflicting onto myself unnecessary pain. And that's what Maximum Ride was. Unnecessary pain. Don't see it. If you see it in a shop on Blu-ray or DVD, no, fuck it. That film would never be released on Blu-ray because Blu-ray is a good fucking quality. If you ever see it released on DVD, yeah, steal it and then burn it.
That is the tagline they need to put on the poster for that movie. Steal it and burn it. Thank you, Rich. Well, for my worst movie of the year, I mean, even sitting here now, I can't believe I actually managed to watch it from beginning to end. It's Gods of Egypt. That film is, oh my god! I mean, I know you guys didn't watch it, but
yeah. But what were you expecting though when you went to see it? Were you expecting shitness?
No, I wasn't, because the thing is with Gods of Egypt, right, is as soon as I knew or I heard, I remember when it was going into pre-production, and Alex Proyas signed on, and I thought, whoa, Alex Proyas, like Dark City, The Crow, iRobot wasn't great, but it was still watchable. So I thought, okay, well, maybe there's something there. And then there was obviously the controversy surrounding the casting and the whitewashing of the cast. But the thing is, I mean, even if you take away, like, even if you park that issue to the side for a minute and just judge the film as a film, Christ almighty, I've never seen something so inept at storytelling, at building character. I've never seen so much bad acting in a big budget movie. This movie cost $300 million.
You're joking.
$300 million on the movie.
That's the same amount as Force Awakens.
Yeah, and it's just there's no competence in it. There are literally shots in the movie where you can't tell what's happening. The CGI looks like as if the computer that they use for CGI got an STD or something like that, and was discharging, and the discharge was the visual effects. That's what the visual effects look like just vomit on the screen. There's CGI giant snakes, CGI walls, CGI blades, CGI everything. Everything has to be CGI in the film. The acting is terrible in it. Gerard Butler, like nobody overacts the way Gerard Butler does. And the thing is, I kind of like Gerard Butler in some things, but boy, when he overacts, my God, wow, he goes there, and it's like he was trying to tap into like King Leonidas from 300, but if he was like really drunk and really high. That's the best way I can describe his performance. And really shouty for some odd reason. I think the only person who comes out of it with any kind of credibility intact is Jeffrey Rush, because he's old, he's established, and basically he'll go on and do something better. Whereas the rest of the cast, God, I don't know how they get away from it. I mean, Chadwick Boseman's got like Black Panther, so he's cool, but good lord, that was it's an unbelievable film.
So,
Unbelievable. Sorry, go on, Richard.
can I just chime in on that? You know, you want to know that when I knew, there's certain films you watch, like you might start watching a film and it'd be like, and then something will happen, you'd be like, yeah, this is shit. Or you see a trailer and you're like, yeah, no, this film looks shit. Right? I knew Gods of Egypt was gonna be shit when I saw that one of the main characters. Is he the main character? That's the guy from Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah, Jamie
It
Lannister.
is Jamie Lannister. Yeah,
The Lannister guy. Yeah,
yeah. I can't remember.
like he's the main character in a big budget film. Like how? From then I was
Well,
like, no, you're
well,
trying
the
to
thing
trick
is,
me.
he's not even the main character, really. I mean, he's one of them, but there's
Who
actually
is?
Yeah,
when
he's one of them.
they've
But he on the screen, in the trailer and on the poster, he's up there with Gerard Butler. Gerard Butler hasn't done shit since 300. I mean, maybe like Olympus Has Fallen. That was okay, but I was just like, what? Jay, I'm gonna ask you a serious question, Jay, concerning Gods of Egypt and what's the other film that you said that was bad? That for
what,
your choice?
Dirty Grandpa or Nine Lives?
Yeah, Dirty Grandpa. Fuck, man, live. I forgot about that. Okay, so those three films, I'm gonna like we're friends. We've known each other for for years and stuff, and and I know you're not embarrassed to say this, but on the real, are you a sadist? Do you like being hurt?
I do not like being hurt. I'm a movie fan. Anybody who knows me knows I'm a movie fan, and people listening and those who follow the blog and stuff, you guys know I'm a movie fan. I love movies, and I there's nothing that I enjoy more than sitting down and getting into a movie and watching a good movie. And I can watch anything as long as the story is good, as long as you can tell me a good story, then I'll buy into pretty much anything. You name a genre, and I could tell you a movie in it that I've watched that I've liked. So I always, will watch a movie, even if the trailers are bad, like it was with Batman v Superman, where the trailers were just terrible. I knew it was going to be bad, but I was like, you know what? It's Batman v Superman, and it's a movie, so I've got to see it. So no, I'm not a sadist, but I do question, like I do question now, especially after this year and the amount of crap. Because I've not even mentioned other things that I've watched, like Ride Along 2, which was terrible.
Whew.
Yeah, that was a real stinker. What else was there? There was that Wayne Brothers film. God, the name. I think I've wiped it from memory, so I can't even remember.
50 Shades Blacker.
Yes, that was it. That was just an atrocity. I don't know where they were going with that. There was a couple of others as well that really just stank the place out this year. But yeah, Gods of Egypt has got to be the one. It's got to be the one for me. I can't take it. It's just too bad. So literally, Gods of Egypt is going as my number one choice for the worst film of the year. And listeners, I pray you never ever have to sit through Gods of Egypt, because God, I fear for you if you do. All right, man. Well, you guys didn't have anything to add on the movie front, did you?
Nah.
No. We're good.
All right, cool. All right, let's move on, man. So, next up, we're going to talk about the best and worst TV shows of the year. Again, TV has gone for a real renaissance this year, and we've had some fantastic television come out over the last 12 months. We've also seen a big shift as well, in the sense that with the growth of things like Netflix and Amazon on demand here in the UK, and streaming services in general, that TV is really kind of pushing the boundaries in terms of what kind of entertainment we get and how good it is. So let's talk about some highlights of the year first of all, before you choose your favorite TV show of the year. So Richard, do you want to bring up some honorable mentions?
What, for TV shows?
Yeah, for TV shows.
Yeah, definitely Stranger Things is up there. Well, I think for TV shows, what did I really? Oh, woo. Okay, Stranger Things.
I was gonna say,
You just
like,
get you just,
you can't. There's one TV show that
Yeah,
you
that you always
watch
got about.
constantly all year. If you don't mention that show,
Yeah.
oh yeah, the Get Down. Yeah, man, the Get Down, like awesome, freaking awesome, man. Like Baz Luhrmann found his stride again. When he did the Get Down, I don't think he did all of the episodes for the first half of the first season, and the second half of the first season is going to be released this year. But it was just a really really good show. Like I really can't knock it, man. I mean, in fact, now that I'm thinking of it, like Jay, you're right. We were blessed with amazing good shows, and Netflix really knocked the ball out the park this year, man. But honorable mentions for me, The Get Down, uh, the main brother Luke Cage, um, Westworld, and Walking Dead. I have to put it in there, man, just for the simple fact that it found its stride again with Jeffrey Dean Morgan's portrayal of Negan. And there was one more as well. Another one. So far I've only seen the first episode of it, and I know it's won a ton load of awards already. But I can see why it's got so much acclaim, and that was Transparent.
Hmm.
So that would be my list for honorable mentions for amazing TV shows this year.
cool, cool. Yeah. Alvin, for you, what were
Yeah,
any
man.
honorable mentions?
Westworld, Stranger Things, The Flash, merely because the show knows what it is and goes for what it knows, and therefore it's completely competent. Not that it's amazing, but it just knows how to do what it does. And Luke Cage as well, obviously. Yeah, that's probably about it, really, in terms of really great stuff. Yeah.
Cool, cool. Well, for me, I think honorable mentions would have to go to Stranger Things, obviously, although criminally, I still haven't finished it yet. I still haven't got to. I've got up to, I think, episode 8, but it's one of those things where it's so good. I don't want to be watching it like um, an hour an evening at night. I want to be able to watch it all at once. But Stranger Things is an amazing TV show. Really is. So couldn't recommend that strongly enough. Transparent, as you mentioned, Richard, I've seen. I mean, technically, it's not a 2016 show. It started before them, but yeah, Transparent. This season that came out this year was really, really good. I actually really enjoyed Orange is the New Black this season as well. It kind of wavered a little bit around sort of season 2 and 3, but this season was actually, I felt really powerful and was a lot of fun to watch. The Get Down was amazing. Westworld, I haven't got all the way through Westworld, but again, the quality of it is so good, and it's one of those things where I'm going to have to sit down and watch it from beginning to end because I don't really want to kind of watch it halfway through. Is there anything else? Oh yeah, Voltron, the legendary defender.
Oh yeah,
Oh
that was
I was,
fucking awesome.
I
How
was,
could the fuck I could forget about
yeah, I was really not expecting anything from that. And it turned out to be like bloody amazing. I was
that?
like,
Only
wow.
downside was only 13 episodes.
Yes,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was really good. And considering it's mostly American made as well,
Mm.
Yeah, kudos to them, man. They really really did an amazing job with that. So that definitely goes on my list as well. Um, all right, so Rich, do you want to give out your number one TV show of the year for 2016 and why?
Uh, Westworld. It's gonna have to go to Westworld for me, man. As much as I love the Get Down, um, which was like an amazing love story set in the 1970s. From disco, becoming hip hop and breakdance, all of that. But Westworld is just a different kettle of fish, science fiction wise, man. I mean, acting wise, perfect. Anthony Hopkins, like he's a national treasure. The day Anthony Hopkins drops dead, and we're out of 2016 now, so we can say things like that, like we're safe, yeah. But the day he drops dead, that's a national heritage that this country would have lost. Um, but the storyline, the way how everything was just thrown out there and then makes sense towards the end, it was just perfectly done. It was just amazing story writing. Like I really can't knock it. And for a TV show, the budget that was put behind it as well, yeah, was wicked. Like what they managed to pull off on a TV show put big budget films to shame.
Mm.
Like you talk about things like Gods of Egypt. Fuck Gods of Egypt. Don't go and see that unless you're saying it's like Jason. Like stay at home and stream or download like Westworld. Man, it's just an amazing show. And jump on it before season two comes out. But I think there's going to be a bit of time before that happens. Yeah, that's my number one show for the year, easily.
Cool. All right, Westworld goes on the list, folks. So make sure you go and check out Westworld. Alvin, for you?
Yeah, for me, because Rich went with Westworld, I'm gonna have to go with Stranger Things, just because fucking what I expected it to be and what I got, I was way happy with what I got. And some like the performances in there, like Winona Ryder, nobody's heard from her in ages. So she was played Spock's mum in bloody Star Trek reboot, but then she came back in this and like fucking some emotional shit that her character goes through. That I was like, no way. Like, and I thought like her performance was fucking great in it. I thought it was genuine, felt genuine to me. But yeah, the show as a whole, it's like you can't kind of place your finger on it. You can't really say it's one thing because it's kind of like about three stories going on. But yeah, just what they pulled off and the story that they told. Yeah, I didn't know I wanted to see a show like that until I actually saw it, and I was like, yeah, sign me up for season two, definitely.
Yeah, 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 definitely, man. So Stranger Things, I need to finish it. I know I'm slipping, listeners. I really do. But yeah, go and see it. Excuse me. Well, for me, I think my choice for TV show of the year has to be Luke Cage, man. Has to be, man. I think just purely, and this is purely personal reasons, but just simply because it's something I'd been waiting for so long from the moment they announced it. I'd been waiting patiently for Luke Cage to come along, and the moment it did, it just delivered on every level and on levels I didn't expect. It was, the plotting was more complicated than I would have expected it to be. There were some very nice twists, some nice surprises in there. The character depth is amazing. From everybody, the performances from everybody were just universally amazing. And what Netflix and Marvel have got going there with their properties that they've released so far, and the things they've got planned are just, they're mind-boggling at the quality of these shows. Um, so yeah, Luke Cage for me, it was just it was a cathartic experience, um, to use a big word, but yeah, it just blew me away, absolutely blew me away on every level in terms of, as I said, the acting, the writing, the um, the overall story that they told was gripped from start to finish. Some of the best dialogue of the year as well. I can't forget that monologue, that Luke has, or the conversation, sorry, that he has with the kid outside of the Crispus Attucks building.
Mm.
That's just burned into my brain, because of the performance of Mike Coulter in that scene, and the way that the scene is just been written as well. It was just superb. So yeah, I absolutely recommend Luke Cage for anybody who hasn't seen it yet. If you haven't seen it, like, what on earth are you waiting for? Just go and see it. Like, it's really that simple. So okay, that's going to do it for TV recommendations. So let's move on. We can now go over to comic books. Comic books is Comics have had another kind of up and down year, really, from what I could tell. I've not been collecting as many comics this year. I've kind of only been following like a few books, really. But and Richard and Alvin are both like big comic book collectors and quite consistent. So guys, your general thoughts on comics this year and the quality of them in particular. Anything kind of stood out to you this year that is being good or bad?
I think
Yeah.
generally the year in comics has been kind of up and down, and kind of middle of the road.
Hmm.
Like, there's not been that many things like that I would say have been like special. I think there were things that were meant to be, but they kind of didn't work out that way. The comics I've enjoyed the most are things that I didn't know that I wanted to read or see.
Hmm.
Those are the kinds of comics I enjoyed the most this year.
Hmm. Hmm. Cool. Rich?
Yeah, I have to agree with Alvin. It's like, I mean, this happens every so often, but this year, being a comic book collector, it's it's felt like I'm still collecting out of habit. No, it's true.
Yeah,
Like I
that's why I'm
can't,
laughing, because yeah, it
yeah,
is true.
yeah, I can't give that shit up. Like every Wednesday, I wake up and I'm scratching and shit. I'm nearly gonna sell Luca because I haven't got enough money to go and buy this issue of comics and stuff. But yeah, yeah, like I said, the same thing. I definitely agree. It's definitely been up and down. It's almost as if like the two main powerhouses, DC and Marvel, they're trying to find their footing again, and but trying to appease everybody. So you've got this new influx of people who are all of a sudden comic book fans, who maybe might be coming from like animation or from film, and then you've got these long-standing fanboys who don't want to see change, and obviously that's a conflict in interest. So you keep on seeing these reboots and these number ones and stuff like that, and
Yeah,
yeah,
loads. There's been too many
yeah,
number ones in my opinion.
yeah, and it's just like, man, come on, just leave it be. Yeah, it stuff that has stood out this year has been worth it, but then when it's been shit, it generally has been shit, and that's quite worrying and upsetting for the comic book industry, in my opinion, for myself anyway.
Hmm. 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 Yeah, I heard that, man. I heard that. There has been some stinkers, unfortunately, this year in comic books, and we'll get to that. But let's start off positive first. So let's go with the best comic that you've read this year. Um, Alvin, what was the best comic book?
I think I'm gonna have to go with DC Rebirth.
Wow.
I'm going to have to go with that, just because, although I don't obviously necessarily think the whole Dr. Manhattan kind of hinting thing and whatnot, and obviously the hint towards the comedian somehow being involved with the Joker in Batman, I still think it was kind of DC setting things right for all the things that were wrong about the New 52.
Hmm.
So, and also it kind of does make sense for the whole kind of Dr. Manhattan connection / hint that they've given in regards to like what 10 years being taken away from their lives, which is why they forgot Wally West and all that. But yeah, I thought it was quite brave of him to kind of admit their wrongdoings in a way and correct that with DC Rebirth. I think that was quite brave of him, and yeah, it was actually a good read as well.
Hmm. Hmm. Cool. Was there a specific title in DC Rebirth that you got?
Just that first issue, that the main one, that
Oh, just the main.
was it an issue 0 or an issue 1? But it's just that the DC Rebirth.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Rich, how about you, man?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Alvin on the rebirth thing. I'm not 100% sold yet on the Doctor Manhattan.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only reason for me, in my opinion, is just for the simple fact that you know how much who wrote again? Alan Moore. You know how much
Yeah.
Alan Moore loves his characters. Like, stop fucking with his shit, man. Like,
Yeah.
he's written this grand masterpiece in Watchmen. Just leave it be.
Mm.
Just I don't understand why they have to take it and integrate it into the DC universe. And I don't know. I just think that's clasping at straws, to fix the wrongdoings. Which, like you said, you have to respect them for that because they've realized that they did f up of New 52. So yeah, but Rebirth was good. For me, comic book this year, it would have to be the first 6 issues of Power Man and Iron Fist.
True that.
Just
True that.
wicked. Just it banged the nail on the head. Like in everything. Like nothing was average. Like the artwork, the dialogue, the storyline, like the characters in it. It was it was almost like we've had this year of like TV shows, harking back to like older era, older times. So Stranger Things being like the 80s, and um you know um the Get Down being set in the 70s, and Power Man and Iron Fist was almost like a love letter to like Harlem and like maybe and Brooklyn and New York of when hip hop was good, but set in a place of like superheroes. It was just, I actually love it, and I'm really upset now because it seems to have taken a bit of a dip when it had to take part in this whole Marvel Civil War 2 crossover thing. But the first 6 issues were just amazing. Just amazing. You've seen like and you get the sense that you've known these characters for years. Like the thing that Marvel has always been good at, and this is what sets Marvel different to DC. Not better, depending on who you're speaking to, but different is that Marvel always focus on the person behind the costume. And so for me, you get this whole thing of like the first 6 issues of Power Man and Iron Fist is, one person wanted to bring the group back together, well, the duo back together, and the other person not. And one person thinking that the other person's wife doesn't like him and stuff. And all this is all taking place while they're going out and just solving crimes, right? Fighting against these B-list villains, that you haven't heard of since like 1987, think, or something like that. It was just such a good comic book, written by David Walker, artwork by Sanford Green. Um, if Marvel films or Marvel TV studios continue doing what they're doing, where they're like influencing or taking influence from like comic books back and forth, then I'm really excited for what they're going to do with the Iron Fist TV show and also for the Defenders TV show, because like if they're going to use this as a linchpin, then it's going to be amazing. I just fangirled them. Sorry, man. I literally like I'm overexcited, man. Sorry, man.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right. We know you're a little girl deep down inside, so that's cool, man. You got to let it out sometimes. But yeah, no, I'd have to agree with you. I think Power Man and Iron Fist was amazing. I did read DC Rebirth issue 1 as well, and I thought that was pretty awesome. Although I didn't really kind of pick up any of the other titles after that, to be, if I'm being perfectly frank, because after a while I just was kind of, I think I read the first Batman #1,
Mm.
and that was pretty good. But yeah, I never really kind of picked it up. I don't know why, but I just didn't. But Power Man and Iron Fist, I think, would definitely be my choice as well. For all the reasons you just gave, Richard. Really, I don't think there's anything more to add to that. To be honest, you kind of covered it all. But yeah, just fantastic writing from David Walker, Sanford Green, who's probably my new favorite artist now. After that comic book, I just love his style. It's absolutely perfect for what the book represents and for the kind of story that they're telling. And it's just an amazing book. So definitely go and check that out. All right. This is going to be controversial. So again, we have to put the disclaimer out. People, this is just our opinion. So please don't get angry and write us nasty tweets. We don't like that. But we're going to have to talk about the worst comic books of the year. I think we're kind of in agreement in terms of the worst comic book of the year, unless anybody has anything different they want to add, Alvin or Richard.
No, I think we can all go with the with what you're suggesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, no,
Richard.
no, no, no. I could add one. I'll
Yeah.
definitely
Could
like
you?
yeah. You know what? We've discussed this already, Arvin, and like
Have
it's
we?
only just start. It's only just started to pick up now. But
Oh,
okay, yeah. You know what I'm gonna say?
yeah.
Nightwing.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Right,
True.
right. Yeah,
You know what? The
Yeah,
art's good. It's just that the story is just a bit like you just want Dick Grayson to be Dick Grayson. I mean, he's gone to
yeah,
Bloodhaven now, which is great.
yeah.
but it's like you want him to kind of be his own man again. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
when you're saying about the Nightwing logo, it's
Yeah.
not the Nightwing logo, it's the words Nightwing with the
Yeah.
Batman symbol behind it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's like, well, this is Nightwing though. Take that
Mm.
away. You know what I mean? Let him stand on his own 2 feet.
Hmm.
And let Dick Grayson stand on his own 2 feet as well. I don't understand why they keep on going, having to go back to Batman all the time. I have no
Yeah.
idea.
You know what it is? Like I said, for me, the thing about, we get this new Nightwing comic book off the back of Grayson, and then obviously the Grayson came off that Forever Evil thing, and it just felt like one of those things where the character had been lost for like the past 3 years.
Yeah.
So when they brought this Nightwing back, I was like, okay, cool. They're gonna really jazz him up and take him back to when he was good. And it just felt flat. Like it was generally upsetting. And I've always said that the character of Nightwing is easily one of the most important characters in comic book history, full stop. Just for, I mean, just for the simple fact that he was the first, I think one of the first sidekicks, yeah. And you've seen him grow up. That's the thing. You've seen him start out as a kid, be a teenager, and become a man. And if you really want to get technical, the whole thing, like he surpassed his father by filling his father's shoes. Like, we could talk about this all day. You've seen him do all these things. So when you see what they're doing with him now, it's just generally just like, just to me, it's just lazy writing. And maybe it's one of those things where they should maybe just take their character and just let him disappear for a while until somebody has a really, really good idea of what to do with him, instead of trying to force him
Yeah.
into these, these like lackluster storylines. Although the last issue, which came out, I think, last week, I mean, it does seem to have picked up quite some, with him going back to Bloodhaven. So I mean, like I said, that's DC once again admitting that they're wrong and saying, well, listen, this is where the character of Nightwing was really, really good, was when he was based in, in this area, or this city. But listen, if anybody out there who works at DC is listening, and I'm gonna see if we can create a hashtag for this. But this is for Nightwing. Give us back our dick. That's what we want. Yeah, we want our dick back. Hashtag hashtag dick. Hashtag DC dick. Anything you can think of with a hashtag and dick in it, yeah, do it. Let's do it. Like, we got to make dick good again. Yeah, how about that?
I would, yes, I would love to see the trending on Twitter, make Dick great again. I think that would be, I think that would be the perfect antidote to the year we've just had. But yeah, no, I mean, I haven't read Nightwing, but I heard you guys going about it, and I've read, sorry, different things online where people have just not been impressed with the book. So yeah, it seems like they've got some work to do on that one. But as said earlier, listeners, I think we're all kind of in agreement on the worst comic book of the year, and it pains me to say it, because the writer of this book is somebody I have a lot of time for. But Civil War 2, Marvel Civil War 2, good grief, what were they doing? What were they doing? It seems like there was no planning, no thought went into it. I think issue A, I almost had a rage quit when I read issue A and tore it in half, because of just the blatant fact that A, they had no clue how they were going to finish this story,
Mm.
and B, they were just trying to advertise all their new titles that are coming up, where there's literally page after page of just these different characters in different
But that bit was
covers.
clever, though. I do give it that, because I didn't even realize until afterwards that I was being advertised to.
Yeah, exactly. It was blatantly you being advertised to. It just, it frustrated me. But the whole thing, it just, and what makes it worse is that actually, if you'd read or had known to read Captain America Steve Rogers, there's actually an explanation for why everything happens the way it does in Civil War 2. But because Marvel
Mm.
never bothered to tell anybody, oh, by the way, you might want to start picking up Captain America Steve Rogers, because we're going to kind of give you some detail in there, you just read that run of 8 books and think, what is going on here? Like, and it starts off reasonably well. Yeah, okay, it's not, it's not as detailed or as personal, or it didn't feel as personal as the first Civil War, Mark Millar's Civil War, and the first couple of issues in that, where the stakes were quite high, but nonetheless, it was still handled pretty well, I thought. And there was a nice little shock at the end, and I thought, okay, this is quite interesting. Let's see where this goes. And then there's another shock in issue 2, and quite a big one that I think a lot of people didn't see coming. And you're like, wow, this thing is really taking off. And then it just goes, I don't know what happened, but the story just goes nowhere. Like you said, Alvin, it was just fight, 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 fight. Bit of dialogue, fight, fight,
Yeah.
fight, fight, fight. Bit of dialogue, fight, 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 fight. To the point where you forget what it is that they're fighting over. I don't know if that was deliberate or not, but if it was a stupid thing to do. And it just becomes idiotic. The whole thing becomes idiotic. Guys, add something on this, please, for me.
Yeah.
I need
I
to
kind
go
of
off because it's got me mad.
I find Bendis. I think Bendis is a pretty good writer, especially when it comes to character development. Like the stuff he's been doing in Spider-Man has been Miles has been pretty good. I always enjoy that. I've enjoyed that comic for like the last 4 years, but I just felt that there was nowhere to go with it. You know what I mean? It's not about superhero registration. It's about someone who may be able to tell or predict or create even the future. There's not a lot of places you can go with that, as you can answer that question quite quickly. And so therefore we just got a repeat of the same things happening with a few major kind of events in there. And then that was it, unfortunately. I mean, the art's brilliant. The artwork is wicked. David Marquez, I believe it is. His stuff in Spider-Man, when Pichelli's not doing it, great. I love this stuff in here as well. And I think they're a good team working together, him and Bendis. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird because it should have been better than what we got. And with that artwork especially as well, if the story was good, it would have been even better.
Yeah, and David Marquez is a great artist. I mean, I love his work. And there's nothing wrong with the artwork in Civil War 2. It's just the storytelling doesn't make any sense. What the decision making the decisions that Carol Danvers makes in the book don't make any sense. I mean, again, I hate to keep harking back to Civil War 1, but even though you couldn't really identify with Tony Stark's point of view, or I could at least understand where he was coming from. The story kind of explained why he would be thinking the way that he is and why he would make the decisions that he did. But in this one, it felt like they didn't bother to do that with Carol Danvers at all. It was just like, she feels a certain way about it. We're not going to bother to explain to you why she feels a certain way about it. And therefore, there's going to be conflict. And as said, because Marvel didn't bother to explain that, there are other books that kind of fill in the gaps, it just reads as a complete mess. So when the trade paperback for this comes out, like I don't even know who's going to bother buying it, because it's not even really a story at all. It's just not. So.
And I just remembered something. The very end of the book, like what happens in quotation marks, it's kind of bullshit. Like I just remembered that other thing that happens at the end of the book. Is like, what the fuck? What the fuck do you mean? Like, what? It was cowardly and lazy, I thought.
Very.
Yeah.
Very. So yeah, it was a real disappointment. Rich, did you want to add anything on top of that for Civil War 2?
Listen, I mean, said it for a hot minute. If it's coming to like proper big crossovers, Bendis is burnt out. He's burnt out, man. Like I think if it's just him like doing like a standalone comic, I think he's doing all right. But when it's coming to these big things, I don't think he can do it anymore, man. I don't think he can top himself after the stuff that he's done before. I think that's the reason why. It's like, yeah, it's just not happening for him. But everything you guys have said about Civil War 2, like, I mean, we were saying that from like Civil War 1, when like, you know what, I'm actually gonna give spoilers. I don't give a flying fuck. Yeah, I'm gonna give spoilers. Yeah, and you know what? And if people decide to still go read this trade paperback and they already know what's happened, yeah, or they're going to decide by the single issues because they're collectors and they think it's gonna be worth something in the future, it's fucking not. But when you do read it, you'll thank us. Send it, yeah, if you read it and you think it's shit and you agree, reply to us and give us thanks, send us money. But in that first issue where War Machine gets killed, and you're like, what? Like, I was like, okay, this has to be a dream. This has to be like, don't just fucking throw something in there to shock me or use that as a linchpin to try and help propel this story forward. That is lazy writing. That is complete lazy writing, especially when you're killing off a character which is quite well known now. Yeah, that's just it's pure bullshit, man. Like, and the reason why I'm feeling passionate about this is because this is because this is how I felt about the comic book industry this whole year. It seems like a lot of it is just to generate money. Like I'm not sure if that's the actual aim, but that's how it feels for me. Because like I said, you've got people like me and Alvin who are active comic book collectors, and like and like I said, every Wednesday we have to go and buy this comic book. And as bad as Civil War 2 is, like we know that that's probably it's almost like you can't miss out on a summer blockbuster or or season finale of something. So we know we have to collect all fucking 8 issues, especially if we bought issue 1 and issue 2, because we don't want to be left out of the fucking loop. Yeah. And that's it. And it's upsetting, man. Jesus, man, I got to take off my hoodie. I'm sweaty and hot. Man. Like, DC, give us back our dick. Like,
Yes.
so yeah,
Hashtag
but
make it great again.
so yeah, that's how I feel about Civil War 2, and easily one of the worst, not one of, easily the worst comic book this year. Like Marvel should be ashamed at putting it out, as far as I'm concerned.
Mm, mm. Yeah, amen. Testify. Ain't nobody gonna be disagree with that, I don't think, or you won't find very many detractors anyway. All right, guys. Well, let's move on. The next thing we're going to talk about is games. Now, I imagine this is going to be kind of short because, to be honest, I really haven't gamed much this year. I mean, I really haven't. I'm at the process at the moment, listeners, of hopefully trying to upgrade some of my gaming equipment. So hopefully soon I'll be able to get hold of some new stuff and be able to play some new stuff, but there isn't a lot that I played this year. There are a couple of things that stood out, one good and one bad, but I'll get to those. First of all, Alvin, you're pretty much more the regular gamer out of the three of us right now. Was there anything that stood out to you this year, good, bad, or indifferent?
Well, to be honest, I haven't actually played that much new stuff this year. I played mainly older stuff. But do you want to just say the best one?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, all right. Well, the games that I played that were kind of brand new releases. For me, it was probably Quantum Break is the one that I enjoyed the most, just because I thought the whole time powers thing was fun. I also liked the fact that it had like recognizable actors in it. And it reminded me of like kind of high concept science fiction TV shows, because that's pretty much what it kind of like based its narrative storytelling on. And there were like kind of like different outcomes of certain situations in the game and stuff like that. And although it only took about like 2 or 3 days to complete, having a few sessions here and there, I thought it was very competent and they've got something good. Remedy have something good that they can build on with hopefully a sequel at some point.
Cool. Richard, how about you, man? Was there anything that stood out for you this year?
Yeah, games. For me, was two. Uncharted 4, which was a nice swan song to the Uncharted series. And I don't know if whoever's a gamer out there, they recently released a gameplay trailer for a spin-off of the Uncharted series, which I'm super happy about. So Uncharted 4 was an amazing game. I mean, like 4 games in a row, literally just like 9 out of 10. Like each game has just gotten better and better, and is one of those games that's fully immersive and is better than some blockbuster films and TV shows. Like I'm talking like the dialogue, the way how characters are written, action scenes, the story itself. Yeah, it's just amazing. I mean, you've got voice actors like Nolan North for Nathan Drake. I think Claudia Black is also a voice actress. Maybe not in part 4, but I think definitely in part 2 and part 3. Yeah, but part 4 was just an amazing game. And then yeah, so played that, completed that, and then I'm currently still playing, but I think I might start again from the beginning. Final Fantasy 15. And I think it's, yeah, definitely good. Look, Square Enix seem to have found their footing again. After the last pieces of games that they released were just a bit of nonsense, to tell the truth. And hopefully this is a good start to putting them back on the map for being a a strong games developer.
Cool, cool. Well, for me, as I said, I haven't really done that much gaming this year, unfortunately. The only thing I've really kind of dived headlong into is Pokemon Go. So it'd be remiss of me not to big up Pokemon Go, because that game had me out doing all kind of things and madness in the middle of the high street, trying to catch things. Um, yeah, I remember I tried to catch Pikachu outside of outside of my local Asda. Asda is a supermarket chain for those who don't know, and yeah, I tried to catch it outside. Well, not really outside. It was kind of around the rear entrance, really. And I was trying to catch it, and I got so into the game that I was kind of jumping from foot to foot and trying to catch the Pokemon. And so this woman was coming out of the sliding doors at the rear entrance, and she saw me leaping from foot to foot right in front of the doors, and she was trying to get past. So she was kind of sort of bobbing and weaving to try and get past me. And so for about 2-3 minutes, the two of us are just standing there doing a bob and weave outside the front door. And so I didn't realize until I'd caught Pikachu, and then I looked up and I was like, oh wow, like, this lady was trying to get past. So she kind of like gave me a dirty look and walked past. And then there was this old guy in the corner. I mean, I say old, but he wasn't that old, but he was mature, should we say? And he was standing in the corner off to the left, and he goes, "You playing that game?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm playing Pokemon Go." He's like, "Yeah, I've got that as well," and pulled out his mobile and showed me the Pokemon. Yeah, that is cool, man. And it just kind of showed you just how crazy that whole phenomenon was, really, the Pokemon Go phenomenon. So yeah, I'd have to mention that. For me, I can also mention as the worst game that I played this year, because it was just such a disappointment to me, was Star Fox Zero.
Oh
I
yeah.
played it at Loading Bay Bar, which is over here. We've got a couple of bars and pubs which are dedicated towards gaming. And Loading Bay is like a pub that has loads of games machines, and they had a Star Fox in there, Star Fox Zero, and I was like, oh my god, I've not played this game since like the N64 version, so
Mm.
I've got to play this game. And I put it on, and it's just the worst piece of crap. It's really bad. Like
Is it
the
bad?
controls,
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
the
Oh
controls
man.
are terrible. The graphics look really like, it looks like they've not even bothered to update the graphics from N64 to Wii U. It just
Yeah.
looks it's a bit brighter, and that's about it. And they've changed none of the gameplay functionality as well. Like they've literally just ripped it from the N64 version onto Zero. Boom, there you go. There's your Star Fox game. And I just remember at a certain point holding the fucking dinner plate sized controller, thinking like, what am I doing? Like I'm not even enjoying this. I'm just wasting my time with this bullshit. I just put the controller down and I let someone else play. But
Wow.
yeah, it was bad. It was really bad. Um, a really really poor game, and Nintendo, like, please fix up. Like, everybody wants to love you, but you keep like just slapping people in the face all the time. So please, come on, like, do it properly. Was there any bad games you guys played this year, or games that kind of didn't live up to hype or
Yep.
expectation for you? Yeah.
Mirror's Edge Catalyst. I
Oh my god.
fucking that game, right? It pissed me off, right? Because all these fucking, you're watching E3 and fucking Gamescom, and obviously
Mm,
they're showing you the trailers and going, oh, you can take any route to any building. Ah, fucking magical shit we've done in this game. You play the game and it's merely a hub world, which means that you go from one side of the map to a certain place on the map to get to a mission to then play that mission. So, and you go the exact same way back. It's not like an open world. It's not like GTA, but with freaking rooftops. It's literally about 7 or 8 different paths, and they're quite long, and
mm,
you'll go up and down them a lot of times to get to different missions. So it's not a fucking open world. It's a fucking hub world to go from mission to mission. And the game took the piss. The
mm,
fucking story took the piss. It was more convoluted than the original story of the first game, which this was a reboot of, but it was way more convoluted, way more stupid. way more fucking people wearing PVC and shades at fucking nighttime, like dickheads. Fucking, it just fucked me off. Just everything about it, I thought was a little bit lazy. It seemed like fucking everyone who worked at DICE, they put all their good guys on a Star Wars Battlefront to get it looking exactly like the movies. Where everyone who was shit, they let them work on fucking Mirror's Edge Catalyst. And there's no reason to reboot the series. They could have just continued from where they left off. Yes, it had been a while, but fuck me, it's not that difficult. Just make it. They had a good mechanics for a parkour game. You know what I mean? So much so that I even bought Mirror's Edge again on the PC, only for £2 though. But I can still play that game. That game's great. But this new one, it's like you've killed the franchise dead. Like you've just shot it in the face. And you're John Travolta, and Mirror's Edge is fucking Marvin, and you shot him in the face. That's what you've done. That's what you've fucking done. It really pissed me off. Not even the money. Not even the money annoys me. It's just like, just live up to expectations. Don't give me all this fucking gaming mumbo jumbo about all this great shit you've done and how it's fucking awesome, and then you just give me this convoluted crap. Don't do it. Or like fucking, oh look, here's this woman who's into tech. She's the IT whiz. Oh, but she's fucking awkward as fuck. Fuck off. Do that shit. I can't do that shit anymore. Hate that. Oh, IT. Oh, fucking quirky IT person. Fuck off. It really pisses me off. As soon as that happened in the game, I was like, this is shit. I was actually frowning when I played the game. Like when I just completed, I was like, fine, I don't have to play it ever again.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
I'm glad I got that out.
Exactly. But yeah, you needed to get it off your chest. I could
Woo.
Get it out today. Richard, how about you, man? Was there anything game-wise that really disappointed you this year?
Yep, definitely up there with Alvin from Mirror's Edge Catalyst.
Oh, Mirror's Edge as well, yeah.
Yeah, like just massive disappointment, massive. Like, yeah, Mirror's Edge, Mirror's Edge is episode 1. That's how bad it is. It's, like you said, it actually makes no sense of how a game like that can be bad when you've got everything you need to make a great game. It was actually genuinely upsetting. Let's say if there's 15 missions, the game only gets good, let's say, from mission 13. That's the only time it got good for me. And I generally didn't know how quick or how short the game was. So I sat there playing it, thinking to myself like, well, it's going to pick up at some point. And then when it did pick up, the game had ended. It was actually upsetting. Yeah. I was like, what? Like, and on top of that, they're not even gonna do any form of like DLCs for it to even continue the game. I think they knew. I think like Alvin, I think you said that like they put all the good people on Battlefront and all the shit people on this, and then they were like, well, listen, we put so many trailers out for it because wasn't it a different team that were working on it before?
I think.
Remember the original trailer? Yeah, the original trailer for it was different to what the finished product that we got. Right, quite a few changes had been made.
I think so, yeah, but I'm not sure as to what. I'd need to see all the trailers again because that was quite a while ago.
No, because I remember at some point they were saying that you were going to be able to use guns, and then they decided to take out.
Yes, they took the guns away. Yes, because I remember.
Yeah.
Because it was something to do with, I think Anita Sarkeesian was a consultant on the game, and she was like, "Oh yeah, take guns out," and they're like, "Yeah, we took guns out." So that's why you can only kind of disarm, but you can't grab any guns.
Yeah, but I'm sure there was quite a few things to it as well. But it was just a poor excuse for a reboot. That's the thing, like you said, and then and the cliches that it was taking. I mean, visually some of it looked okay and things like that, but the first one did a much better job than what this did. And
people said that one was convoluted.
That. But this one is just takes the mick, mate. Like, and then like the resolution that comes at the end is like, it's just no way, man. Oh, man. Yeah, and I paid full price for that. The day it came out, I went out and bought it. And I remember playing it, and I sat down and I lied to myself that I was enjoying it, and I cried.
Don't worry, we've all done that, mate. We've all done that. Oh my god. Well, boy, what can you say, man? We've all been hoodwinked. I mean, yeah, I heard Mirror's Edge Catalyst was pretty bad. I said I didn't play it myself, but yeah, I heard it was pretty poor. All right, well, cool, guys. I mean, that's gonna about do it for us. We did get a couple of comments from a few people. Mikey suggested Supergirl as being one of the worst things he'd seen in 2016. Mikey can kiss my black ass. That's fine. And the guys from Two Uncool Podcast said Suicide Squad was pretty awful.
Yep.
So yeah, I agree with that. Okay, well, thanks, guys. Thanks a lot for that. That will just about do it for us. But before we go, I just wanted to let you all know that we are going to be looking at expanding things going forward. One of the things that we do have lined up is hopefully to start getting the podcast onto iTunes. So if you're an iTunes user, we will hopefully be able to upload that onto iTunes and get that going for you. Also looking at Google Play as well. Hopefully, again, within the next couple of weeks, we'll start to do that and start to get things going on those platforms. So if you're used to using those to get your podcast regularly, then you should be able to find us there shortly as well. We're also going to be having a look at trying out Periscope and Facebook Live. So if you don't follow us on social media already, then you should do. Please do follow us because we will be going onto Periscope and we'll be doing some live movie reviews and live chats and hopefully getting to know some of you who listen to us as well and the kind of things you like. So if you're into that kind of thing and that's the kind of thing you want to do, then make sure you're following us on social media and doing that. Okay, before I get to the shout outs, Rich, did you want to add anything?
Uh, yeah. I've been watching a few things. I've got a couple of shout outs to do for Instagram. Can I do those?
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Yeah. I've got one called Barbara's Daughter. So at Barbara's Daughter, that's it's a charity based for people that have lost family members to cancer. There's another one called Commander Heritage, which is it basically sells like homeware, houseware, so like blankets, curtains, cushions, made of like really, really beautiful African fabrics and prints. Um, what else was there? Uh, yeah, I think that was it. Oh, if obviously you guys are listening to us on YouTube as well. Go take a look at Backchat London, man. That's some entertaining stuff. I just thought I'd throw that out there, man. Why not? And I think that's it, really.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Ben. Well, yeah, I've got to throw out a couple of shout outs as well. So got to big up a few people who have been interacting with us on Twitter and have been following the podcast and have been giving advice and support, which is really appreciated. So this goes out to all our regular listeners, so George, Marquita, Daniel, Josh, David. Thank you very much for your support. Thanks for listening and for always staying up with us. Also to Jane as well. Thank you. On Twitter, some other podcasters as well that you guys should check out. The Drunken Dork podcast, who have been really, really helpful. Have really like retweeted a lot of our stuff recently. So thank you very much. Open All Powers podcast, a really good superhero and comic book podcast, really good fun. So check them out. We got the Jazz as well, Autumn and Ray. They do a really good podcast. Check them out. They're really good. The Broken Elevator as well. Just in Time podcast. The crew from Two Shots of the Brew. Master Debaters, the Podcast Brothers, the Podcast Queens. The guys from Two Uncool Podcast, of course, always. Lots of love from them. And Team Biscuits podcast with my girl Cheryl and Miss Mad News as well. That's really, really good podcast. So check that out when you get the chance. Also to say what's up to a Graceful Viking on Instagram, Jay Del Negro as well. Thank you very much for your support on us on Instagram and for following us and for liking what we do. So big shout out to you as well. And I think that is it for the shout out. So let's wrap this one up, man. It's been fun. 2016 has had a lot going on for it. 2017, actually, before we leave, give me one thing that you're looking forward to. Don't need a long explanation. Just in 10 seconds, just give me a big thing. So, Alvin, what are you looking forward to?
Star Wars Celebration and Star Wars Episode 8.
Wicked. Richard?
Iron Fist TV show.
Cool. And for me, it's got to be the Defenders. Defenders, I'm absolutely looking forward to, man. Can't wait. All right. Well, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for joining me on the podcast as always, and thanks for tolerating my intermittent coughing. I'm still got a bit of chest rot from the winter that's going around at the moment, and yeah, it's making me feel like an old man. So I'm gonna go and have some hot water and lemon, I think, and settle down and enjoy the rest of my evening. Before we go as well, make sure you check out Alvin's YouTube channel. It's called The Mank Geek. You've been doing some Star Wars videos recently, right? For Blue Milk, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Blue Milk. So obviously, well, Blue Milk, Star Wars, you get the reference. But yeah, essentially, when any bit of news comes out, I'll probably ramble into a mic and then add a little picture, make the video, and then just put it up, and it's just me rambling. And yeah, you can check those out if you want. You can also get me on the Twitter and on the Instagram at BigA85GL.
Wicked, wicked. Richard, where can people find you on social media, man?
Instagram at Rich Reviews. Also the Instagram at Wulong Talks. The website www.wulongtalks.com. And I'll say it's a bit of a running joke now, but yeah, Twitter at Rich Reviews. But never use it. So yeah, don't even bother.
Yeah, I was going to say the Twitter that has one tweet on the timeline.
Yeah. No, in fact, I'm actually gonna do a tweet tonight or a tweet tomorrow, depending how I feel.
Oh God.
Yeah. Yeah. Hashtag.
Jesus. Good luck.
Hashtag.
Oh
make-
yeah, of course. Make it great again.
Yeah.
Hashtag make it great again, people. Remember that one. Okay, well, for me, you can catch me on our Twitter page at Wulong Talks. I'm also on Facebook as well. We've got a Facebook page and it's now live, so you just need to look for Wulong Talks on Facebook and you'll find us there. And as Richard mentioned, we're back blogging again on the website at wulongtalks.com, so you can always get hold of us there. And if you prefer to email, you can email us at wulongtalkspodcast@gmail.com. Okay, that's going to do it from me, I think. As said, my throat is hurting now, so let me go and take some juice or something, man, because I'm parched out here. Alvin, say good night, man.
Good night, peeps.
Richard, say good night.
Hasta luego.
This good night from me as well. We're out of here, people. See you later. Peace.